My parents were immigrants from Croatia, Serbian Orthodox. So the first records I'd hear would be kind of Balkan, kind of folk music. When my dad, he worked in a factory in England, in Staffordshire, and he would always have the radio on. So we'd listen, just hear, it was on, it was a kind of in the background. And I had two older brothers and older cousins who were really into music. So when I was from about 7, I picked up on it. But by the time I was 9, I was serious. I remember cousins going to see Pink Floyd when I was 7 and Yes. And then got two older brothers, and the older brother took me to see Pink Floyd when I was 9. And then I had another brother who was into punk rock, and he took me to see all the punk bands when I was about 11. So 11 to Clash, Generation X back at the time. And then by that point, I started to play the guitar at 9 years old. So I got the whole kind of prog side of guitar playing from people like Dave Gilmour, Steve Howe, the Yes thing. And then you dig deeper, you'd find out about other guitar players. But then there's the like Chet Atkins and stuff like, Wes Montgomery. But then I found out about, the punk thing. It really got to me. I love Pete Townsend, who was almost like a godfather of that kind of power chord, the Link Wray thing and all of that stuff. So I really loved The Who. And I really loved James Honeyman Scott from The Pretenders. He was an awesome player. But they were like traditional classic guitar players. And there's also a side where I remember seeing like Magazine, so that's John McGeoch and those guys. So they had more of kind of a post-punk thing going on. Yeah, it was good. My dad bought me a little nylon strung guitar, 20 quid. And he bought me this guitar, and that was it. And I got into that. And then the thing was, having those two older brothers and older cousins who would take you to, you beg them. And they'd be like, oh no, but they were quite kind in many ways. They took me to these gigs, seeing those bands, the big bands in the day, it was just it was like mythical. It was like something else. It was like a total, going into another world. Going to those bands at the smaller venues, they weren't small venues, they're theatres. There's a place called the Hanley Victoria Hall. And that was like about 2,000 capacity. But the bands, like The Clash, like all those bands, they had so much energy. And it was like, it was a lot of that. You could do it, anyone could do it. And it gave you the sort of, because the big bands seemed so far away, that whole kind of Yes thing and the Pink Floyd thing, it seemed so distant. It's quite ironic because we were staying in a hotel with Roger Waters in Sao Paulo the other day. How it all comes round. But anyway, seeing the bands like, The Clash and seeing those kind of bands, it made it more immediate, more real. But Hendrix, actually, coming back, I didn't mention, the thing is, the one that really blew me out of to start playing guitar was Jimi Hendrix. That's the thing that did it. I saw, it was a TV show in England, and it showed Jimi Hendrix, and I don't know which one it is, but he had this amazing jacket on with like arms, fluffy arms, and it was like, and I remember saying to my brother at the time, God, if he carries on like that, he'll be dead. I don't know why I said that. I had no idea that who or what. And that was in 76. I saw that, and I bought there's a magazine called Sounds. There was an interview with Hank Marvin, who I've met as well. He was another hero. And he was saying that he'd written a song for Hendrix. He was going to give Hendrix something, but he died. I remember reading this quote and thinking like, fuck. It blew me away. So Hendrix was number one. I love songs. That's the thing. It's not just, I don't really think myself as like a great guitar player. I love playing the guitar. It's how I express myself musically. But I really love songwriters. And Bowie was, without a doubt, number one. Never worked with him professionally. Did see him one day in London, walking down the street about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, walked right past him, eye contact, looked me smack in the eye, with the eye, and I looked away. And he went that way, and fool. I just like messing around until you find what falls naturally. Just chords, playing around chords, But I think it's important to get a bass. You'll find something, a tune. You can go like, and you think, what melody can come on top of there? My soul. You know, it sort of comes like that, and then you have to hum along, find the words, you know, and then you start, go away and just carve out all these words and work out the song where you know, I need a little middle or somewhere interesting to go with it. But a vibe, that's what I'm looking for. I mean, I'm very fortunate to play with the Bad Seeds, with Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. Nick's an extraordinary, he's a unique performer. And he's got, you know, this incredible energy, and he's a very honest performer on stage. You know, he doesn't hold back. And as a band, you know, Warren, you know, is an incredible, you know, Nick and Warren collaborate, and they've got a real chemistry together. But the whole band has got this kind of commitment to playing. So when you go on stage with a band like the Bad Seeds, it's not a case of, you don't wing it in that way. Songs, there's moments where you just go for it. You don't know what's going to, but actually you don't know what's going to happen for a lot, because it's so raw. And that's the thing. I feel fortunate to be playing with the Bad Seeds and to be on stage with Nick as well, because there's such an energy, there's such an honesty to his performance. He really gives so much. He's like a conductor, he's like Stravinsky or somebody. You've always got to watch him. So when you're watching him perform, you know, it could go anywhere. He goes into a zone. So, you know, sometimes we'll just extend the songs, we might miss a, you know, but that's part of it, that's part of the show, because he's in. I think, you know, as a band, we're all in. With the Bad Seeds, Nick and Warren are composing. They write the music, and they've got a very set idea about how it should sound. And going in as a band, what tends to happen is they'll write something, record it, and then bring the band in later. And it's not to play the obvious thing, or not to play what. One, if it doesn't sit in there, it won't work. It's that classic thing of as soon as you start, bump, go, record. If it doesn't sound right, it won't be in. If it fits, but it's a lot of restraints and playing absolutely what is appropriate for the song, but also there's the sound as well. So it's very important to understand that and be sensitive to what's required. I think that's probably true with most artists in recording. I've got a real keen eye for guitars. So it's not that I'm a collector, but I know what I really love a good guitar. So, and I like a classic guitar. I've got a couple of old Everly Brothers at home, acoustics. I could have picked up an old Les Paul years ago when I was like 19, and it was 800 sterling, and it was beautiful. I had a thick neck, headstock tucked back, angle, funny like logo at the top, and I just didn't know enough about Les Pauls at the time. And the body, the shape was small, heavy as fuck, and it was black. And the guy on it said, I think it's an old one, and I think it might have been a gold top. Look behind. If you look, you can see the gold underneath where it's been painted black with a paintbrush. P90s on it, and it had the tailpiece, but not the tailpiece there, but the screws were there. I remember thinking, you know, I think I was just before I moved to London, I probably had about 800 quid in like cards, name, everything to me. It's, you know, and I thought, I've got to move to London. I can't really buy this thing. I should have done. It was a piece. I've got some old guitars. I've got like an old 330 that I take out, 66 330. And it's a beaut. And I love that guitar. And I don't mind taking that out, because it's just like, that's my main electric guitar with the Bad Seeds. That's great. The acoustics, I play quite a lot of acoustic live, so it's good to have just something that's a bit of a, you know, can take a few knocks and get hammered around a bit. But why? Yeah, just like, they feel good. And they look good. And there's a history to it. I think it's a different era. I think there's, actually in some ways, you're exposed to so much. I've got 2 little boys, and I've got an 8-year-old boy who's so exposed. He's exposed to so much stuff, which is great. But I think there's a lot of good stuff going on, but not to expect like any kind of, to do it because you love doing it and go out there and play and enjoy playing it without a kind of, and if this is, just do it because you love doing it and get out there and play, you know, and express yourself and go mad. If it means smashing your guitar up or whatever, just do it. But play all the time, without a doubt. You have to play. One has to play. There have been some real tough times, but perseverance and commitment, actually. Real commitment to doing it and not being afraid to fuck up, get it wrong, get out there and meet people and talk to people and say, hey, I'm here. And, you know, put yourself out there. And I think it's really important to do that. And not actually to have, because a lot of people are cocky and think that they're great and might have, it just doesn't work like that. And the more honest you are, I think you've got a better chance of whatever success is, succeeding in your own personal goals. It's great, it's amazing because there's a common ground, which is music. And once you break past that barrier of whether it's just, you know, slight discomfort or insecurity or attitude, whatever it is, you know, or whether it's rudeness, once you know, do you know what I mean? Once you actually connect with people and start to talk and meet a few people you admire and respect and are able to get onto that level about talking, you know, about guitars and stuff, it's awesome. You know, it's fantastic. It's great. It's really lovely.